What's good? It's your boy Jay, that's me. Let's dive into TNA Impact from October the 9th, 2025, the go-home show to this Sunday's Bound for Glory, TNA's version of WrestleMania, and we are going to go over the Bound for Glory predictions. This show, for the most part, was okay. I did enjoy the face-off between Mike Santana and Trick Williams. The matches on this show were abysmal, and we had some pretty cool vignettes on this show. So we kicked the show off with the face-off between Mike Santana and Trick Williams. So Mike Santana said that Trick Williams has not had to survive the physical and mental battles that he has. Mike Santana talked about identifying his father's body in the morgue and having to tell his daughter that he was an addict, and a failure and being a failure was not an option for him at Bound for Glory. Trick Williams told Mike Santana that he be back in rehab after he loses on Sunday to face the truth. That's why he was no better than Trick Williams. So good stuff there. I did like that. That was nice. So Mike Santana then called Trick Williams a pretender with fear in his eyes. He's a one-trick pony. And then Mike Santana called Trick Williams bound for developmental after he loses the world title on Sunday. So good stuff there. I thoroughly enjoyed this. This was like a good 5 to 6 minutes. Really good way to start the show, for being honest. Moving on from that, this leads us into Tessa Blanchard. She tells the same story about Gia Miller, how she couldn't cut it at George South School. So Gia, she retorted by saying that you had to move to a different country because you burned every bridge that you came across. That was a really good line there in her promo. So good stuff there. I liked it. Really good. All right, moving on from that. First match of the night. Ryan Nemeth versus Matt Cardona. I don't give a fuck about this. Matt Cardona wins. I don't care at all. Moving on. The Rascals. They did that 70 shows gimmick. They need a match for Bound for Glory. And basically their contracts are up at the end of the year, which is kind of scary. And then they're going to talk to Santino Marella. So maybe it could be the Rascals versus Dark State at Bound for Glory. Maybe that could be on the pre-show. So we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. Moving on. Mara Sade, a.k.a. Jakara Jackson, she cut a promo about how Jazz and Jacqueline were her inspirations and how cool it was wrestling with the Hardys. She wants to be an inspiration to motivate little girls. So good stuff there. I thoroughly enjoyed this. Jakara Jackson, she should be the face of TNA in due time. Obviously not right now, but definitely sometime in 2026 or 2027, she should be the face of TNA. Indi Hartwell is not yet, and we'll talk about that when we get to it. But Indi Hartwell is somebody who really should be just a transitional champion. Like, truly. There is no need for her to be a long-term champion where she has like a 8 months to a year type of reign as champion. It doesn't need to happen. Moving on from that, Mustafa Ali versus JDC. Mustafa Ali gets the win. Whatever, I don't care about this at all either. The System, they came out and they had a little brawl with the Order 4. Don't care about this at all. So, whatever. So we get the TNA injury report. So Mara Sade and Mara Sade and Team 3D, they're cleared. And they're going to be in the Mara Sade is going to be in the Call Your Shot Gauntlet. That's cool there. So the Inspiration, they're also cleared. And Elijah, a.k.a. Elias, is still out. So, yeah. Okay, moving on. Speaking of Indi Hartwell, like I did earlier, so there was a contract signing it was interrupted by George Iceman, the personal concierge. He complained about the Elegance brand, how they lost the tag titles last week. So he invoked the automatic rematch clause, and Santino said he is going to oblige, and he signed a contract. That means Santino Marella. So then the personal concierge, he left, and he's going to read over the contract. So Indi Hartwell talked about all the sacrifices she made to become the new number one contender for the TNA Knockouts Championship. And it was how Kelani Jordan was being a little bit of a jerk to win the title. So Kelani Jordan, she says she's not here to disrespect TNA. She wants to elevate the title. So Indi Hartwell's family is going to fly 21 hours to Boston to see Indi win the title. Kelani wants Indi Hartwell to bring this same energy to Bound for Glory. And then both women signed the contract, and then that was it. To me, this is not really that important. I don't think that Indi is ready. I don't think that Indi needs to be put in this situation at all. She's just not over. I mean, I get people like her and stuff, but she doesn't have it. She does not have it. She had a terrible match with Tessa Blanchard at Slammiversary. A terrible match, which turned me off. It turned me off to Indi because I thought that Indi could do better. I really, truly did. She was in She was in WWE for years, and she didn't learn a damn thing. So it is what it is. Moving on. So we get the Road to Glory, the final table. It was a long video package. It was like a good 5 to 8 minutes. It's just a bunch of footage from the Hardyz and Team 3D over the years. So Devon is going to do this to show his younger kids what he used to do. Bully Ray promised some unpleasant emotion because he despises planned emotion. And then Jeff Hardy's two daughters, they were involved in this as well. So good stuff there. Moving on, this leads us into Leon Slater. So he was on the entrance ramp. He cut a promo. So he ran down all his accomplishments over the past year. He promises to carry the legacy that people before him like AJ Styles built, along with the Motor City Machine Guns, Chris Sabin, and Alex Shelley. He's not going to lose the title to an outsider like Javon Evans. So this is fine. I don't understand why they're using the whole outsider term. It's not really that important. But this match is going to fucking rule. It's going to kick major ass. No one's going to be able to top this. Main event of the evening. TNA is so damn stupid. Eric Young defeats Joe Hendry in a no DQ match. I wanted to saw my television in fucking half. What is going on with TNA and Joe Hendry? It seems to me that Joe Hendry very well could be on his way out. He's not even on the Bound for Glory card at all. So I have no idea what's going on. It could be where his contract is up. So we could see where his contract is up. Maybe at the end of the year. Also, there are a lot of contracts that are up for TNA talent. Obviously, the Rascals. Also, the Inspiration. Their contracts are up, I think, right after Bound for Glory. Hopefully, they re-sign with TNA. I think there's some other talent contracts that are up. I think Cedric Alexander's contract could be up as well. I don't know if he signed a long-term deal. He probably didn't. Probably just signed like a handshake deal. Hopefully he sticks around. He needs to. Again, TNA needs fresh new talent. So, it is what it is. The final closing segment of the show was a video package being narrated by Conan for Mike Santana. It was really good. It was a good 5 minutes. So we had Eddie Kingston in there, a couple other guys in there as well. So Conan, he wrote a letter to Mike Santana saying that there's never been a Puerto Rican TNA world champion, and Mike Santana can cement his legacy by winning the world title at Bound for Glory. So good stuff there, really good. I thoroughly enjoyed that. Santana needs to win, hands down. But the go-home show really, truthfully, was missable to me. The matches were horrible, boring, just not good. Joe Hendry continues to be screwed by TNA. He continues to get screwed over by them for whatever reason. It seems to me that Joe Hendry probably more than likely will be NXT bound, I would say, by early next year. So between, I would say, January and March of next year, maybe at the latest April. But I do see Joe Hendry jumping to NXT. I just see it. Because he's been taking a bunch of losses as of late. A bunch of losses. I can't remember the last time he won a televised match on TNA, and he's lost a lot of pay-per-view matches. So, I don't know. But let's go ahead and switch gears and get into the predictions for Bound for Glory. I am excited for Bound for Glory. So it's going to take place on Sunday, October 12th at the T-Songs Center, which holds about, for wrestling, it can hold 10K. For concerts, it can hold 7,800. And for basketball and hockey, it can hold 6,500. So hopefully TNA can get a really good crowd out. With this card put together, they should be able to get a strong number. I couldn't really say or guess the number. If I had to take a guess, they should be able to at least get a good 7 to 8K people show up. At least that. At least 8K to show up. At least that. So, good stuff there. All right, let's get into predictions for Bound for Glory. We have 10 matches on the card. I'm not really all that excited for a lot of these matches except for 2 or 3. And that would be Javon Evans and Leon Slater for the X Division Championship. Leon Slater should win. This is a match that I'm very excited for. This is going to be the match of the night. Nothing on this card will be able to top this at all. Nothing at all. This is going to fucking bang. We should we should at least get a good 20 minutes out of this. 20 to 25 minutes out of this. So, good stuff there. This leads us into Frankie Kazarian versus Steve Maclin. TNA International Championship, who cares about this? Frankie Kazarian's going to win, I don't care. Another match I don't care about is the 10-person intergender match, Hardcore War. The System versus Order 4. I don't care about any of this garbage at all. Hopefully the Order 4 to win. Moving on. Call Your Shot Gauntlet. Another intergender match. TNA needs to go away from the intergender matches. Enough is enough. We don't need those at all, period. The Call Your Shot Gauntlet should just be just for the men. If you want to do one for the women, that's fine. But this just needs to be men only. It really does. I mean, come on. And I would shorten it from 20 to at least 10. So, it is what it is. Who wins, I don't know, and I really don't care. It's not important at all. It's not. We should get some surprises in this, hopefully. So, there are a couple of free agents around, so maybe they'll show up, I guess. I don't know. I don't really care about this. Another match I don't care about is Tessa Blanchard versus Gia Miller. There is no story here. It's like a little mini story, basically, but this is something that could take place on a random episode of TNA Impact. Who should win here? Tessa Blanchard. But Tessa has been so underutilized for a while, and when she literally lost to Indi Hartwell back at Slammiversary, I'm just like, TNA, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you're fucking up real bad, but it is what it is. Let's stick with the women. The Inspiration. So, Cassie Lee and Jessie McKay versus the Elegance brand, Heather and M by Elegance. A rematch. It all depends. The Inspiration, they just won those titles last week, like literally last Thursday. I don't know. Hopefully they re-sign with TNA, so I'm going to go with the Inspiration winning. If not, then we know they didn't re-sign, basically. So, moving on, Kelani Jordan versus Indi Hartwell for the Knockouts World Championship. I want Kelani Jordan to win this. I really do. But it seems like they're going to probably give it to Indi Hartwell. But hopefully Kelani Jordan wins. So I'm going to go with Kelani Jordan winning. And then maybe Indi will probably win if Kelani Jordan is still champion next year at Genesis in January. So maybe that's what they'll do. They'll probably end up putting Indi in that Joe Hendry role where he was supposed to win last year at Bound for Glory, but he ended up winning this year at Genesis. So that's what they might do. TNA will do some dirty shit like that. And to me, I think it needs to happen because Indi Hartwell is not the girl that you need to be building the Knockouts division around. You don't. Hopefully Zeta Steel, she'll show up. She just left Evolve not too long ago, like a day or two ago. So yeah, so hopefully she'll show up. Moving on, the Hardyz versus the Dudley. The Dudleys, aka Team 3D. One final table for the TNA and NXT World Tag Team Championships. The Hardyz should win this hands down, and this will probably be the co-main. And then the main event of the evening, Trick Williams versus Mike Santana for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. Mike Santana needs to win this. So there is that. But I'm only excited for 3 matches. That's Trick Williams and Mike Santana. The X Division title, Leon Slater and Javon Evans. And the Hardyz and the Dudleys, just to see how that's going to play out. I don't really care about anything else on the show. I just don't. Everything else on the show just seems like a total waste of time, and it's something that could take place on a random episode of TNA Impact. But it is what it is. But what did you guys think of TNA Impact? And what are your predictions for Bound for Glory? And are you excited for Bound for Glory? Let me know. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.